Hi, Gemini. This is Carrie at wooingnature.life. I hope life is treating you well. This is your June reading for 2020, and I am ready to go ahead and get this party started. So, I am going to be reading today from the Sibyl's Oraculum. It's a 44 card system. So, for those of you who are numerologically inclined, you will appreciate the 11s and 44s in this particular deck. So, it is a building deck, it's a way for you to continue to edify yourself and stack the odds in your favor, for lack of any other word. I'm also going to be reading from Deborah Kopp Chapin's The Soul Cards to give us some internal work and some emotional work, to look at our emotional selves and our emotional well-being. And then the tarot section of this month's reading is going to be taken from the Steampunk Tarot. I use that for work and for career and entrepreneurship and projects and things like that. So we'll be focusing on work and career this month for the month of June, since everybody's kind of getting back into the swing of things. And then I'm going to follow up with the animal cards. I want to look at some animal totems for you, Gemini, and just see what kind of energies are around you, or what kind of spirit animal energies can support you during the month of June. So I've already taken the liberty of pulling your cards for the Sibyl's Oraculum. Again, this is a building system, and there's 4 cards that are selected. 2 of them will tell you about core issues and what the glitches are with the issues that you're having. And then it gives you a couple of action items that you can do both internally and externally to help your cause. Okay. So the first card, which represents the core of fundamental issue or problem or whatever, is mysteries. Those things which are hidden, that are kept hidden for whatever reasons. Could be hidden out of shame or guilt, or it could be hidden because you don't want somebody to know that you don't know, something like that. Um, but it's the unknown. It's the unknown. And so, for whatever reasons, that which is unseen or unknown may be causing some fundamental issues around what you may be pursuing or doing in your life at this time. The core of it, or the glitch or the mental glitch that uh, is surrounding this, is doubt. So there's some fear associated with that, some things that you might not want to see. It may be things that are very wonderful that you don't want to see, or that you think you don't want to see, but you've got to be open, Gemini, in order to not get stuck in not knowing. And that's not like you anyway. You're the information person. You're the information magnet of the zodiac. And so if there is something hidden that you feel brings about doubt or fear within you, then you'll want to press through that if you can. But we're going to pause and let the oraculum tell us what you should do. So the last 2 cards are what I call action items. One can be internal and one can be an actual external action that you're doing. And so here we have defense. So defending oneself, defending one's principles, values, um, being able to understand yourself to the degree that, if there is any question that is brought up, or if there is any doubt that surfaces, that you can be quite sure of that and also defend your position. Now, it's not about being defensive, it's just about being able to know for yourself why these are your values, where these values come from, if they are truly yours, or if they are values that come from other people, family members, parents, loved ones, cultures, that kind of thing, that maybe bring up some doubt for you, or that you may not ascribe to anymore. And it's okay to assess that. All right. And then the next thing is questioning. Questioning is a forward action. It's like you asking yourself the right questions to get to where this doubt is coming from. Okay? And if you need help with that questioning, you know where to go. There's therapy, there's psychologists, psychiatrists, and also many great intuitive readers who can help you with that. So we're looking at those darker parts of the self where doubt comes from. I think this too also will defense or being having defense mechanisms will give you a clue as to where you may be having some doubt or where you may be having insecurity. So you want to pay attention to that during the month of June. So I'm going to close with those and go right into Deborah Kopp Chapin. So I really love Deborah Kopp Chapin Soul Cards. They're one of my older decks. Actually, I've been working with these for many years now. It is a purely intuitive deck. It's an artistic deck. It's art based on art only. It's no number systems and no ancient systems that it's attached to other than the ancient system of intuiting and creating. And so when it comes from an intuitive place, it's always fun to read from something that's purely intuitive. So we're going to use this to look at emotional sides or, just things that Gemini may need to get their hands or their mind or their spirits wrapped around. So I'm just going to pull 3 of those from the Soul Cards 2 deck. Looks like you've been thinking, pondering, reflecting, particularly on your past, your roots, your family, ancestry. This is something that has been a focus for you. I'm going to say at least for a little while, but it's really taking you into some inner spaces and some places within, as all ancestral work does. So I'm definitely seeing ancestral work with the roots tying to the soil, knowing where your roots come from. And again, when we were talking about asking those questions here, that may be a part of it. It may be a part of you understanding the mystery of yourself, Gemini. It's because you need to understand your roots, where things stem from. And then I have some growth here, incubation of a new project, a start of something new. It could be new aspects of yourself, learning new parts of you and nurturing that. And a part of nurturing is holding on and letting go and knowing when to do what when. So if you're getting lessons about letting go, or if you're getting lessons about holding on, then that is a part of the process that you have to go through, Gemini, in order to nurture this new aspect of yourself. So you're going to feel a little bit like a monk. You might feel like you're isolated. A lot of people, of course, feel isolated or have been feeling isolated, so you are definitely not alone. But I think that this is really a spiritual awakening for you, and you're going to have to be in an incubation period to do so. The next card up here, I've seen this one before in somebody else's reading, but it's about, again, connecting to these roots. And I'm seeing the Kabbalah here because we have the tree of life, the tree or the what do you call these, the limbs and the trees and the leaves that are growing on the outside, and then those that dig deep into the soil. So if you are into Kabbalah, this might be a good time to brush up and study up and pay attention to what's happening around you and then associate it with that. But other than that, again, this process is going to lead to this one here. So just take your time. Take your time right now, Gemini. You don't want to rush an incubation period. Okay? We don't want any premature births of your own, okay? So there is a tying together of the two sides of yourself, Gemini. This is going to be different for you because Gemini is very comfortable with their dualities. They're comfortable with the black and white, and then also because they're air signs, black and white kind of makes them feel at home or at ease. But this is a time when things are going to start blending together for you. So it may be different. Again, it may be a part of that mystery. aspect that we talked about before, something that you're not quite comfortable with or not quite sure of. But just read the signs and pay attention to what's going on around you. There is familiarity around what you're receiving at this time. There is some familiarity in it because nothing happens that's brand new. There's always something that is familiar about even an unknown experience, and that's what you can have peace knowing that everything is the same. The more things change, the more they stay the same. You can rely on that, and there's some sense of reliability on that, or something to hold on to while you're transitioning. All right, so moving right along to the steampunk again, we're talking about work, and we're talking about work and the balance that's needed in that situation. You may be coming up on some extra work, Gemini. It may get a little busy, get a little hectic. You might feel like you're having to ride out a period because people are getting back into the fray, or back into the swing of things. So you might be feeling like, you're ready to look for other things because of it. I'm also getting that you're feeling a little bit worn out, worn at the edges about it. You may need some extra help at work. Don't be afraid to ask for that, or ask for a hand when you need it. That's a part of the balancing act too. Asking for what you need when you need it. And also knowing what it is that you need. Mm-hmm. Speak to me about Gemini and work. We've got another 2. So a couple of 2s here tell me that in order to create the balance that you want, some decisions have to be made. There's a decision that has to be made. I'm saying for you to look around the moon times. Meditate around the moon, the full moon that's coming up in June. You want to do some meditation around there so you can get some clarity about what's happening and what you need to do. I'm not getting quite, even though we've got the 3 of Wands, which represents moving on to different shores and different pastures, I'm not getting that there's a time for that yet. I think what you have to do is examine the aspect of your work that you enjoy the most, and then look for something that ties to that. A lot of times when we're trying to transition from one work situation to another work situation, we end up in the same situation we're in before because we haven't really done this assessment and we haven't really analyzed what it is that's working or not working about it. Sometimes we'll tie it to a person. Oh, I don't like my boss, or this person is a micromanager, or I don't like coming to work at such and such a time all the time. It gets on my nerves, that kind of thing. But you really do have to understand that some of those things are just kind of it's a part of anything. You're going to have that with any kind of work that you do. You just have to know what aspects and dynamics in the work situation that really need to change, and then you need to know why that doesn't jibe with you, because a lot of times we're in denial about that. We're in denial about who we are in the workspace. We're confused about our positions, and a lot of times it has to do with your title. If you're stuck on a title, but you don't really know your position, what your true position is, you don't know what your true purpose is in life, it's going to be hard for you to understand your position in the workplace that you are, because everywhere that you are, Gemini is exactly where you need to be to help advance your script, your personal script. So if you're not feeling like you like to be wherever you are, you really need to get to some bottom lines about that. I'm getting a King of Wands in this picture with the Queen of Cups. There may be a partnership, or it could be a work situation where there are 2 people who are in positions of authority who may be working together. One person seems to be very clear about what it is that they're doing, and they may be more of the heavy hand, and then the other person may be more of the soft heart. This could be either one of these could be you, or it could be somebody else that's over you. Gemini, I'm seeing some disappointment here about what's happening there. I'm sure you feel disappointed, especially if you've been burning candle at both ends. Whoever these authority figures are in the picture, that's who you need to look to for an answer to this. There is the Empress showing up, which means that it's lucrative there. Like it's not like the money isn't good, or it's not like you don't have what you need. That's not the situation. I think you're just burning out. You're burning out, and so you may need to talk to either this could be a couple of supervisors, or you might have to go up the chain a little bit. But before you do that, I just want you to be clear about what's going on with you. Make sure that you're not harboring any doubts in yourself, right? Before you do that. Because you're not going to be able to get what you want or ask for what you want if you don't have the confidence that you need. And if you have any doubt in yourself, then you're not going to be able to have the confidence to touch this place at the job, at your work site. So I do see you working hard. I do see you honing in on something. I do see you refining your skills, refining your techniques, getting it right, getting it perfect, perfecting what it is that you do. That's going to connect you to that abundant place too, but I think you just have to take your time. Just got to take your time. It's not quite time yet. There's a few things that you're going to have to do. Work through the doubts and insecurities is one of them. Because if it's a situation where you feel like you have to go to these people to ask for a transfer or a raise, or if you want to talk to them about structuring your workday differently or something like that, then you're going to have to be clear about what that is and how that fits into the current structure, or how it would work with the current structure, because nobody's going to buy it if it doesn't work for them. There we go, right there. People have to be bought in. They have to be bought into your idea, so you have to make it work for everybody. You have to show them how it works for everybody. So just ask and you shall receive, but ask without any doubt, and ask with a clear understanding, Gemini. Yeah, I think you just have to handle the burnout. You have to deal with this. You have to handle the burnout, and I think that you've got to talk to these people here. Positions of authority, people in positions of authority, but don't forget to think about what it is that you really enjoy and that's really working for you as far as the job is concerned. But there is a policymaker there who can make a difference, or who can make the decision for you, or make the decision for what it is that you want, or they can put their stamp of approval on what it is that you desire. And then I'm getting the Ace of Cups here, which says that there is a flow. There is a flow of energy coming towards you in June. You want to tap into that. Work with water energy, work around water energy, water spirits, being near the water, that kind of thing will enhance your ability to see what direction you're headed in. And it will also help you to put your hands on those tangibles that you are looking for. The tangible benefits, because you're really looking at benefits. It's not so much money, it's more benefits for you. All right, anything else for Gemini for the work sector? The work. All right, yeah, I think that things are going to come together for you in the workplace when, going back to that Three of Swords, when you stop, I'm going to say commiserating about what isn't going well. then things will come together a little bit better for you, Gemini, then, as far as your work is concerned. And again, this could be work on the job. It also could be your entrepreneurial efforts. It could be partnerships or projects that you're working on. Wherever that sits with you, whatever work means for you. It could also be spiritual work as well. All right, so moving right along, we are going to the animal cards. I have been pulling the totem card. This is the third one I've pulled for a sign, which is about animal connections, making animal connectivity, understanding the spiritual culture behind the animals that we see every day. That is an indigenous thing, and so that's what this call is for. It's to get you in touch with your spirit guardians or your spirit animals or your spirit familiars or totems or whatever. So make that a part of your spiritual practice. Your daily practice is to look at what animals seem to show up for you every day, and then you can look them up on the internet and it'll give you an idea as to what that animal is reflecting back to you. Let's see what other animals come up for you, Gemini. Well, we got the ram here, a starter. Rams represent sacrifice, growth, and divine light. It says the ram is a symbol from ancient mythology that has long been associated with sacrifice and ritual slaughter. The ram's death is not only an offering, but a precursor to rebirth, and thus a symbol for life reflected in the astrological sign of Aries, which marks the start of an astrological year in the spring. So we're talking about birth and rebirth and the sacrifice that comes before it's time to be reborn. So you'll just pull from the energy of the ram as you are starting up and starting anew and starting fresh in June. You are still in Gemini season during the first part of the month, so utilize that time to release that which is old and bring forward that which is new. And then we have the bear. Now, the bear is associated in some tribes or traditions as being a healing animal. So this may be a time for healing for you. All parts of the animal are used to protect and to be and to take care of the tribe. You know, the fur and the meat and the fat and all of that. And so the bear is associated with healing and with divinity. The bear has symbolized divinity and healing in many cultures. The Ainu people of the northern islands of Japan believed the bear was a mountain god. In India, bears are believed to prevent disease. And among the Finno-Ugric people, the bear was the god of heaven. So bear has figured predominantly among Native American people who regarded it as a spirit helper. So that's your spirit helper energy, Gemini, coming out now. I'm seeing that this is an aspect of yourself that's really going to unfold other aspects of you too. And I feel like that bear is also going to tie you to your totems, to other animals as well. Okay? All right, so that is your reading, Gemini, for the month of June. If you would like another reading or a deeper dive, you know you can reach out to me at info@wooingnature.life or Kerri, Kerri, at wooingnature.life, or you can check out the website at www.wooingnature.life. And as always, I hope you have a great day. I hope you're having a great June, and I hope you have a fantastic life.